Hey guys, welcome back to Albion Elementary, where we try to get new players into Black Zone content in Albion Online. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over how I spent my fame and how I spent my time getting fame credits and then spending those fame credits and why. A lot of newer players will ask, like, once they figure out what it is that they want to fame up, once they figure out what weapons they want to fame, they have a hard time figuring out what to do with the fame credits, which is a currency that you earn while getting fame, as well as the priorities for like why we should level certain things, especially when it comes to like Black Zone, like ZVZ style playing the game, because there are certain trees in the game that are just more prioritized. If you're somebody that wants to play in Black Zone, right, the chances are that you're going to want all the options for your, not only your helmets, but your armors, your boots. All these things should all be 100 first, in my opinion. Sort of, and I'll get over that. Mostly just because whenever you sign up, for ZVZ, one of the first things that is going to be required of you is that you're going to have 100 spec, not only in the weapon that you're playing, which for some weapons doesn't even necessarily matter. Looking at you, Occult, you don't need 100 in Occult to play it. You could play it with one spec, with like no spec in it at all, and a flat 4, and still kind of do your job. Especially if you're in a guild that doesn't necessarily do VOD reviews and things like that. But you're going to want to try to stick to the principles of how to spend that fame that you're earning. In Albion, there are different specs and masteries for each different item that you're wearing for the 5 main slots. And by the 5 main slots, I mean not your cape, not your bag, not your mount or your food or your potions. That stuff, or flip-flop reverse that. That stuff doesn't matter. Your spec on these things doesn't make a difference. You're going to be able to wear a 4.3 cape, which is the standard for almost every guild that you're going to be in. They're going to ask that you're in a 4.3 cape. If you're being cheap, you're going to be in like a 4.2 or 4.1 cape. If anybody ever sees you on like a 5.1 cape or like flat 5 cape, they're going to think that you're losing your mind. They're going to be like, why aren't you just on 4.3? Doesn't make any sense. Realistically, it just is that way because of the way that the cooldown scaling is for capes. I digress. Today we're going to focus on what to do with your fame in regards to the main spec lines, which in this case are going to be the weapon line that you're working on, or your helm, your offhand, your feet. I'm not going to say boots or shoes because I feel like, you know, it's too confusing. Your feet and your chest piece. Your weapon is essentially, and this is not perfect math, but it's essentially just as difficult to level from 1 to 100 as it is to get the whole rest of this set many times over. So because of the way that fame works, it's all on coefficients or ratios for fame earning as well as fame spending. That means that when you spend fame credits, right, when your fame credit spending, offhand is going to get the most benefit from 1 fame credit. 1 fame credit in offhand is worth like, I don't know, 16 times or something. It's outrageous. In order to get a offhand from 1, only costs 300,000-ish, 350,000, 400,000, somewhere in there, because this is not perfect, because it's not a 1-to-1 ratio for going backwards. It only gives you a percentage, which is why I say that. But the amount of fame credits you'll see is significantly less than the amount of fame that it costs to put into that weapon. Which means that if I earn fame credits, the very first thing that you should spend fame credits on, for efficiency's sake, right? And this is not perfect. This is only one way to do this. There are many ways to spend fame and fame credits in Albion. A lot of people will tell you not to do this. Not a lot. Some people will tell you not to do this because it's easy to fame up offhand. It's easy. It's not hard. That said, if your fame is already capped out on your offhand, for every fame that you earn after being 100, so once you have a gold star here or better, you're going to earn fame credits. It's going to convert. Now, it only converts 20% unless you have auto respec on, and I don't recommend turning that on unless you have a lot of silver or you have a credit card. But earning fame credits will make it so that you're increasing the rate at which you're sort of exponentially growing your account, right? In a way, sort of. Again, this is just one way to do this. Offhands are, like and again, this is not perfect math. Offhands are, let's say, times 16. For every jump in fame credit spending, right, the number that the fame credit is worth is going to go down by half. So let's say offhands are worth 16. That means that your helms and your boots, shoes, feet, whatever, are worth 8. And that means that your chess piece, which is the next bracket, right? Let's say those are worth 4. Yeah, okay, that sounds right. And that means that the next bracket jump is to weapon. Weapon is times 2. So for every fame credit that you spend, right, it is worth 2 fame. So in order to max out a weapon from 1 all the way to 100, right, which is the default where you should be for when you go to play a weapon, it costs 16.9, we'll call it 17 million, just for the sake, 17 million in fame credits, right? That's the credit, not the fame. The amount of fame that it would take you without using credits is double that. So it's times 2, right? So that's what that number is for, ish. It's not perfect. Now, for fame credit earning, it's the exact opposite, right? So when you earn fame credit on a weapon, you need to earn, scratch that. The amount of fame credits that you earn is roughly worth the amount of the ratio for the reverse, right? So if weapons are 1 fame to 2 fame credits, right, you're going to roughly earn half the amount of fame and fame credits multiplied by the earnings amount, which in this case is 0.2, unless you have auto respec on. And again, I don't recommend that you do that. Do not do that. Do not turn auto respec on. It is faster. If you have a whole lot of silver, you're probably not watching this video. If you have a credit card, ignore this video. You can do what you want. I don't care. Spend money how you want to spend money. It is your money. This is a guide for newer players who are trying to do things efficiently. I highly recommend that you at least get premium. It's going to help. If you don't have premium, the principles still apply, but what you should do is get your offhand, just like this, offhand to 100, helm and boots to 100, chest to 100, weapon to 100. Now listen, it is faster to wear the weapon that you're trying to fame because you're going to get 100% of the fame. Unless you kill things 5 times faster. Or eventually you're going to get to a point where all of your armors and weapons are all 100. This is going to take a long time. You're not doing this tomorrow. This is going to take a while. It took me a long time to do this on my account. I highly recommend that you figure out which helmets and things you want to wear specifically for ZVZ. Get those things to 100 first. For me, it was Assassin Hood. That's why it's 120. It's, in my opinion, one of the most versatile helms in all of ZVZ. Very, very many people will put you on this helmet. Not only just for the fact that it increases the cooldown rate, but also because it's a leather hood with cleanse, and it's pretty cheap because it gets crafted so often. I don't recommend taking any node on the whole tree to 120 unless you really know what you're doing. Don't do it. Some people will recommend it, especially if you get stuck on a roll. If you're like the one guy in the guild who plays Bedrock or something, they're going to be like, yeah, take it to 120. Don't do that. Don't do that. You might not play Bedrock 4 months from now, and you're going to be like, man, if I only had not wasted that extra, I don't want to use Bedrock as an example because it's not at 100. If only I had not wasted that extra 50 million fame credits to do that. Okay, I didn't even know it was that much, if I'm being really honest. I don't even have a weapon at 120. That's an insane amount. 50, just for the sake of saying, 50 million fame credits is like 4 different weapons to 100, basically. Something like that. It's close. Not perfect, but it's a dent in 4 different weapons. What you're going to want to do in the order that you're working on, right? So you're going to take your first set that you're looking to take all of these little stars up. You're starting with nothing. Pick stuff that you think can be famed in easily. So pick a set that you like to play in. For me, that set is Mage Cowl. I love Mage Cowl. It's really good. I use a Stalker jacket or a Merc jacket. Sometimes I'll play with Assassin just because when I first started. And then any shoe. I like soldier boots just because it's easy to get away from people. You see a red. It's hard to catch somebody with soldier boots sometimes, unless they're on like a really good catch weapon, in which case, guess what? You're dead anyway. Especially as a new player. If somebody feels like they can fight you and you're like, oh man, I want to fight this guy. He's by himself. If he thinks he can win, he's gonna win. Like if you're a brand new player and you don't know what you're doing, the game, especially in 1v1, is gonna get down to those nuances where you're trying to figure out whether or not you can fight. You know what? That's a different video. Anyway, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to level the first 3, right, in any given set of stuff, right? So for here, it's cloth helms. So from face scale hat all the way to scholar cowl. These, beyond the first 3, these are artifact items, meaning that in order to craft a royal cowl, that's a really bad example. In order to craft anything that isn't a royal item, you're going to need an artifact to craft it. Don't craft it. You're just going to buy stuff. I don't recommend crafting for almost any new player. That's a whole different way to play the game. I'm only trying to get you into Black Zone content. That's the point of this whole thing. Not crafting. You don't craft in Black Zone unless you're... I digress. Once you get these first 3, they're going to give you a bonus, right? All of them give you a bonus. But the artifact ones only give you 10 item bonus for all cloth cowls. The first 3 in any given category, whether it's helms, whether it's chest pieces, they'll give you 20 bonus item power to the item that you're wearing. So let's say I figured that I wanted to wear Assassin Hood. I'm going to go back to my really good ZVZ example. I wanted to wear Assassin Hood. It already is one of the first 3, right? So it's getting leveled anyway, realistically. And also, once I get Assassin Hood to 100, the next 2 items that I'm going to want to work on, unless I need another helmet for ZVZ for my spec, are going to be Hunter Hood and Mercenary Hood, because they give item power to your choice, or your main item that is in the tree that you're in. Assassin Hood, see that I have been 120, so it gives bonus 24, but it gives 244 Assassin Hoods. So let me go get an Assassin Hood. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Walk over to my bank here. Assassin Hood, right here. Perfect. So Assassin Hood is going to get a plus it starts at 900, plus 100 for the enchantment. That's 0.1. 60 for the quality, because it's excellent. But then you'll see underneath of that, you also get a mastery bonus and then a mastery modifier. The mastery bonus and mastery modifier are from the tier that it is. So the mastery modifier here is 10%. So it gives me 10% extra of my mastery bonus. The mastery bonus is a total of the bonuses from not only your fighter, so if it's leather hoods, it's leather hood fighter, the mastery node. which is plus 20 in this case. It also gets the bonus from this plus 20, from this plus 20, from this plus 10, so on and so forth, and then also from this 240. It's all of that added up. The more bonus you have, the higher your IP is on a lower weapon. So I have, a lower item. I have 1482 item power on a tier 6.1 excellent assassin hood. If you want the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak, the very first thing that you're going to want to do is spend your fame and your fame credits in the item that you're going to wear. I highly recommend that you put your fame and fame credits, all of the things that you're earning from everything, into your first fame farming set. For me, that weapon is Battle Axe. I love Battle Axe. It's my favorite. That said, I will never bring Battle Axe to ZVZ. It will never happen. It would have to be, they would have to break the weapon for it to be brought to ZVZ. It is not a ZVZ weapon. That said, it's super good for fame farming, in my opinion, and it is one of the things that people recommend in the beginning of the game. You're going to use that weapon at 100, right? Once it's 100, you're no longer going to get this 100%. You're going to use it as 100 while you're using items here that are not 100. So you're going to earn credits from the weapon side of the tree and then spend them on this side of the tree. The reason that you do that, the reason that I did that, is because the faster that this side of the tree, this side of your inventory, is all 100, the more fame credits you're earning while earning faster. And then you can switch to a weapon that is not 100, so you can level the weapon faster and then take these credits and then like reallocate them back forward. It's like a pay it forward kind of a scenario. And what that's going to do is it's going to make your account look like mine. And this might not be a goal of yours. That might not be the point. Once you have all of your offhands to 100, once you have all your boots, all your chest pieces, all your helms, right? You're finally going to get down to the weapon line that you like to use, and you're going to start leveling it to 100. Now, you can see I already have things that are 100 in here. I play my account a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none style of gameplay. So I have 100 and some, like a bunch of really random stuff. If I had all of 100 in like one single weapon line, right, then I could move on to another weapon line, so to speak, so on and so forth. The whole point of this is to make it so that you can wear items at a decent, like, to a decent degree without crippling the fact that you don't have armor. Who cares if you have 100 in the shapeshifter tree if you have one plate armor at 100? That would be embarrassing, actually. If somebody said to you, "Oh man, I see you're on Judicator armor," and you have that at 100, and they say, "Hey, can you bring Demon or can you bring Knight?" and instead, and your reply is, "I don't have any spec in that," they're gonna be like, "What? Why? Like, why is that way?" Most people will tell you, the versatility, the options, right, are going to be more important than the weapon options. You're going to get weapons up while doing this. You're going, like, I obviously have a whole bunch of weapons at 100. You're going to get weapons at 100. Find one that you really like and invest in that tree a bunch. I would say get other things that you're not going to wear to 50. That's like pretty easy. In order to take a weapon from 1 to 50, the amount of benefit that you're getting versus the amount of fame that you're getting is good. So it only costs 3 million. It costs 17 million to take it to 100, right? Think about the difference there. And it's only half of the benefit. And you're not even spending close to half of the credits on doing that. It's pretty easy to take a weapon up. I have a video that I'm going to put out on how to earn fame and what to do as far as going out in Black Zone. I used One-Handed Frost for that video because I have no spec in it, so I purposely used a weapon that I've never used before to do that, and it went well. I took that weapon to 70 in 1 day. It is not hard. In order to take a weapon to 50, it should only take about a day's worth of play. And when I say a day's worth of play, I'm talking 5 or 6 hours sitting down without moving while also being a dad. So responding up over the computer type of a day. Not getting up every 5 minutes. Not I played for an hour. That's not a day's worth of gameplay, in my opinion. Now, do you have to do all these 5 or 6 hours at the same time? No. You could do them in half-hour stints, you know? That's how long a food lasts, is a half an hour. And I base my timers for whether or not I'm going to do content in any given time on whether or not I have a food buff. So if I use a food, I don't want to waste it, even though food's very cheap, in my opinion. This looks like a hot mess now, but hopefully this can give you some kind of a baseline. And just to go over what I was saying, the whole point is to get a weapon to 100, your fame farm weapon to 100. Step 1, get the fame farm weapon that you want to use to 100. While you're doing that, you're going to get other items over here to 100. Once they're 100, switch them out. Keep using items that you can use to fame farm while you're fame farming. Spend your credits on offhands first, so on and so forth, offhands first, that you're never going to use. For example, I know for a fact, it's a terrible idea. No one in their right mind is going to use a celestial sensor. I should just type sensor, huh? And not be in caps. No one's going to want to bring a sensor out. It's very expensive. It's very expensive in comparison to like a torch. And it lowers your defense. So increases healing cast. You're not going to want to bring that with you anywhere. That's the kind of thing that you're going to want to spend your credits on in the beginning. It's going to cost nothing to get that to 100. A lot of weapons in ZVZ that you're going to use are going to be one-handed. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And you're going to want the option to wear the offhand without having to worry about whether or not you have spec in it. Having spec in the items that you're going to wear to ZVZ is important. Having spec in the other stuff that's around the stuff that you want to wear is semi-important. It is less important, still important. My recommendation, in general, is to focus on your fame farm set and focus on the set that you want to wear in ZVZ. Both of those sets need to be 100 first. Once those things are 100, spend your credits on offhands, then on helms and boots, then on chest pieces, and then eventually, once all those things are 100, you can spend all your credits on weapon. This is only one way to do it. I'm going to reiterate that over and over again. Take this with a grain of salt. This is my advice. I have around 2,200 hours in the game. Day one, I was in a ZVZ guild doing ZVZ. I was in Black Zone. I highly recommend that if you want to get into Black Zone content, go to Black Zone. Do not hang out in yellow zones. Do not hang out in blue zones. God help you if you go to red zones. It is not worth it at all. Don't do it. Hopefully this helps. I think at this point I'm rambling a little bit, so I'm going to end the video. If you have any other questions, or if you need any additional help on what you want to be spending your credits on, if you need a little something personal, feel free to reach out. I will help anybody who wants to get into Black Zone content. It is, in my opinion, the greatest way to play the game. Hopefully this helps, and I'll see you in the next one.